David, if Trump loses, or even if he doesn't, when he eventually leaves, what happens to the Republican Party? This is a big topic. There's really a lot here. And I think that the wrong analogy would be to look at the Tea Party. The Tea Party surfaced in 2010 as a sort of libertarian, don't tread on me, reactionary counter to Barack Obama being elected in 2008. And they got a bunch of people elected to the House of Representatives. They're presidential candidates to the extent they had them. I don't know if like Ted Cruz is considered a Tea Party guy. Ron Paul, I think, was a Tea Party guy, but they never had a prominent presidential candidate that did well. They never had a president. And what happened with the Tea Party is they were essentially, some of them just lost and went away. Their ideas became kind of compartmentalized in the Tea Party caucus, and they've been more or less integrated into the Republican Party as more libertarian leaning Republicans. I don't think that that applies to what we're seeing with Donald Trump, because the Trumpism movement, to the extent that it is a movement, and a lot of that movement is based just around trigger the liberals. It's a very stupid movement, but it's arguably a movement nonetheless. They got a president who got at least 4 years, and maybe he'll get 4 more, and 60 million votes, right? That's a lot, and maybe more than that in the upcoming election. So I don't think that in practice, things are going to sort of go back to normal. I do believe that the more traditional Republicans will pretend that Trump never existed to some degree. They'll start again talking about, oh, the deficit, and all the BS that they don't really care about. They'll start, blocking any effort, if it's Joe Biden, any effort that Joe Biden makes to get anything done. They will maybe even start fomenting protests, particularly if they lose the Senate. They'll again kick up the pandering to the religious right, pandering to the gun rights people. They're going to do all of those normal things. But it's going to be tougher to really pretend Trump never existed, because Trump got a presidency. And again, the Tea Party never did that. And I think what will be trouble is that Trump is not going to fade into the twilight the way George W. Bush did. We covered earlier this week, Trump says he might leave the country if he loses. He's been telling all these states, North Carolina, if you don't vote for me, I'll never come back. Iowa, if you don't vote for me, I'll never come back. I do think that we may see a quieter Trump if he loses. And certainly if he gets 4 years and then loses, I think that will sort of be the end of Trump. And he'll be, quite an older guy at that point. But Trumpism and the fact that Trump has at least 3 children who seem to have an interest in remaining in politics, plus a son-in-law, plus, all of these other kind of hangers on. If Trump keeps tweeting to some degree, if in the media you continue to see Don Jr. and Eric and Ivanka at minimum, then I think the offspring of this movement will remain for some time. So I think in practice, a lot of the future of Trumpism within the Republican Party is going to be affected by things we haven't seen yet. One real question the Republican Party is going to have to figure out, if Trump loses right now, will be, how do we get a handle of the white nationalists, the people whose ideology is just to anger liberals, the so-called culture warriors focused on SJWs and cancel culture and that type of thing? How do we get them under control? Because they're completely out of control right now. And if Trump loses, it will be evidence that even with them behind your candidate, it's not enough to win. If Trump loses in a moderately large race or in a landslide in a couple of weeks, the Republican Party is going to have to realize these groups aren't even helping us win, and they're really bad for us. We've lost traditional Republicans because of these groups. Does the Republican Party abandon those groups? Do they call them out? Do they just push them back into obscurity, still voting Republican, but not as comfortable with their ideas in public as they've been under Donald Trump? I don't know. But all of this put together suggests to me that whenever Trump leaves, you're going to see the Republican Party sort of flail about in a confusion for some period of time after Trump loses. It may even extend, if Trump loses in 2 weeks, into and beyond the 2022 election, where you would expect, if you have Democrats take the White House in this November, inaugurated in January, history suggests Republicans would do well in the 2022 midterms, especially if that didn't happen. there's going to have to be a real accounting of what happens. What happens to the Never Trump Republicans, the Lincoln Project conservatives, many of whom are supporting Joe Biden? Do any of them remain Democrats? Or do they all go back? All important questions. But I think it's going to take more than 3 months to figure out, even if Donald Trump loses in 2 weeks, which we hope he does. We've got a great bonus show for you today. Sign up, get instant access at joinpakman.com.